Las Primas Hermanas podcast. And this is just a random idea we decided to come up with because this is what we do, right?
Talk a lot of
shit.
Stuff.
Talk a lot of stuff, talk a lot of shit, talk about life.
Real life shit.
And we're like, you know what? Let's make a podcast. So here we are. And we don't know what we're doing, but we're doing this.
We're going to do it.
So this is kind of like our intro episode where we're just trying to put content out there. We don't know who's going to hear this, who's going to see this, but it's going to be out there. So we're going to talk about ourselves a little bit, each of us. Our vision, I would say, you guys could let us know what your vision is. But I think our vision is overall, like, it's just a podcast to show, like, life as a Latina living in the U.S., right? Born and raised in the U.S. And how we keep our culture, right? Obviously, we keep our culture. But there's so many things that, like, I think Latinas all over, no matter what background you are, we have so many things in common because of the culture. And so whether that's childhood trauma
and just underlining trauma. Real life stuff.
Yeah, real life stuff. Like, we're going to literally talk about everything. So it's going to be random. It's literally like you're in the sala. You're in the sala with your cousins, your sisters, and you're just talking. And I think Primas Hermanas, even that word is something that's so...
meaningful.
Like, meaningful, yeah. And it's like, who says that in English? Like, you're not like...
we do.
Like first cousin.
Sister cousin, yeah, first cousin. But Primas Hermanas is literally like... Your first cousins are always like your sisters.
I didn't even know that word was really a word until they were like, "Oh, that's your first cousin? That's your prima hermana?" Like, what?
Yeah.
But yeah, so we can talk about ourselves a little bit. Whoever wants to go first. Oldest first.
Yeah.
You're mic number one. Who's mic number one?
Doesn't matter.
Oh, you're the oldest though.
I am not the oldest. They're a liar. Hi guys, my name is Giselle, aka Yeezy. AKA Zelly. It's like, no sir, call me whatever. Not whatever.
What do you want us to call you for the remainder of this journey?
Yeezy.
I like Yeezy. I like Yeezy.
I like Yeezy.
We're gonna need subtitles.
Very catchy. Yeezy. I am the oldest. I'm a sister. This is my sister. And this is my cousin. Fun story here.
Prima hermana.
Yes. I don't know what to say.
You want us to come back to you?
Yes.
Well, tell us, okay? Like, how old are you? Do you have kids? Are you married? Are you
I am single
and looking
and dating. Actually, the dating pool is full of piss. I have 2 kids, 2 boys. I just turned 35.
So I'm still 34.
Damn, I didn't know we were putting that out there. Oh, wait, you're not 35. I was like, damn.
Don't listen to her. I just turned 35. I'm an Aries. Aries gang, yes. And I don't know. I have to come back. I'm looking forward to this.
Wait, you're the oldest out of how many?
Well, I guess she meant she's the oldest out of us.
Okay,
no.
But she's also the oldest out of the sisters.
I am the oldest out of the sisters. There's 6 of us, I think. But yes, I'm the oldest one. Probably the most traumatized too.
Fair.
Seen a lot of shit. Yeah, let's pass on the mic to Tiff.
Okay. Well, you're supposed to go in age order.
No,
Jams
you could be
next.
the second oldest.
Okay. So I'm technically the youngest out of us, but I'm literally the middle child in all of our dynamics. And I'm also technically an only child. So me and Giselle are half sisters. So we have different moms, but we share the same dad, as many Dominican families do. I am the product of a Dominican love child. Well, love triangle. But yeah, so that's how we're sisters. And then Jams is my first cousin from my mom's side. So we're super close. Like, we've done everything together for a lot of part of our lives. Like, it was always like a dynamic duo, I would say. Like, we were always into the same things and all that stuff. So me, I'm just 33. I just turned 33. Pisces gang. Child free. I'm still on the fence of whether I want to stay child free or not.
She wants to be the rich traveling titi.
I just want to be the rich traveling aunt. And so we'll definitely cover that at some point too. Like all of our different dynamics, right? Like motherhood and non-motherhood, auntie life. Let's see. Yeah, I'm just figuring out my life. I recently came out of a interesting situation,
Very
aka
interesting.
cult.
Survivors.
So, yeah, I'm a cult survivor, which actually Jams is too. So that's a whole different story we're gonna get into. So we literally have so much to talk about that we're just introducing ourselves. Like,
Just changing
so
the
right
channel.
now it's just our.
It's the volume.
Oh. So right now it's just our relationship, which is like, okay, we're sisters, we're first cousins. Yeah, that's all I can say on myself right now.
Right now.
Right now, it's
kind of
For
fun.
now.
we're all
This is just a
we're all
tester.
millennials. So yeah, but I would say we're excited also to just get this out there, and I feel like a lot of people are gonna resonate with it and just listen to us talk shit. Like it's literally like you're in the sala with us talking, you know.
Yeah.
Talking crap.
And we hope once we get like if we get an audience, well, we will get an audience.
Yes,
'Cause
manifesting.
we're all about that manifesting, like the law of attraction. I'm all about that. My new religion.
She done moved on from God.
The universe.
Onto the universe.
The universe is my God. But yeah, like I really feel like a lot of people will resonate, and I'm like excited to hear like, you know, maybe people could like ask us questions and like, you know, maybe they want something.
We're gonna share all the social media and our website and everything. All the details will be there.
Yeah, like we really want to like.
We're also gonna have we listen and we don't judge episodes. That's gonna be fun. So we're looking forward to see what you guys have to say.
Yeah.
Or question. Or want advice on.
Yeah. So Jams, if you want to talk about yourself a little bit.
Not really, but yeah. Okay,
Welcome,
let's
Raven.
see. I need to go. I need to go off my notes. Right? She keeps calling me Jams, but I'm Jamy. I am in my 30s, and I will not disclose how old I am. I am. Oh, my siblings and I are all 100% Puerto Rican.
We didn't say what we were.
You mentioned your Dominican side. Yeah, so it's me and my 5 siblings. We're 100% Puerto Rican. I am the 5th born. Wait till you hear this.
I forget.
Before me, my mom waited. Well, yeah, before me, she didn't have a child for like 10 years, right? So she had her first 4. And then 10 years later, a whole decade later, me and Jesse came along. So later on, I'll be sharing how different my life, like my upbringing was from my siblings, right?
Sonia ain't play.
There was no TV back then.
For real.
What else? I am a mom. My son is 19 years old. I have 1 child and a cat.
2.
No, I have 1 cat.
No, I know. 2
Oh.
children, technically.
Technically, right? Let's see. What am I missing here? Oh, like this relationship here, like Tiffany said before, she and I are Primas Hermanas, right? Mm-hmm. My dad and her mom are siblings. And Yeezy is my cousin by Americo.
I was brought into the dynamic.
Cousin by association.
Yeah. Right? That's like the best way to describe it, I think.
Cousin by somehow injection over here.
But I feel like that's a common dynamic in
a
Latino
blended
families,
family.
like,
Yeah,
blended family,
we're
like,
super blended.
Yeah. Sometimes you don't even like. There's like a couple aunts that I've had growing up where it's like, oh shit, like she's not my actual aunt.
Yeah.
Like that's just my mom's best friend who I've been calling Titi my whole
forever.
life, and my cousins have always been my cousins. Like we never considered blood to be a thing.
Well,
it's
we
like,
don't even find out that we're not blood related until we're like 16, 17, and it's like, oh damn. Really?
Then we're like, what?
And then we
We're
start
not
having
really
those
related?
friendships and relationships ourselves where we call our friends, our best friends, sisters or cousins, and then our children grow up thinking the same thing.
Yeah, I think we definitely translated that to the children. Like, now we have to explain to the kids at some point, like, well, that's not.
They're gonna be heartbroken because I was heartbroken.
Right.
Like, what do you mean that's not my aunt?
Yeah, like it's so confusing. I'm like, wait.
Like my whole life, I thought that Migdalia and Titi Lourdes were sisters.
Exactly, yeah.
And then I found out that she's actually your godmom, and then your mom's best friend. So she's not even blood related to me at all.
Right.
So I'm just like, okay, it makes sense now.
Yeah, that's a funny one. I feel like a lot of people could relate to that. Definitely in Latino culture, like. And maybe other cultures too. Like I don't know. I'm not sure.
I'm pretty sure. It's bonds that you build with people. Like you create your village, right? Your family. So it's like, out of respect. Like even just like living in like an apartment building, right? Like your next door neighbor, you could just call them like La Tia or something, you know?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
and
Like my
yeah,
neighbor
like,
upstairs.
instead of like la vecina, you
We
know?
just
Like
know her since
like
we were little, and she's
Right.
my cousin.
Yeah,
so everybody's
exactly.
just, oh, that's my cousin.
And I
We're
feel like
not really related.
I feel like I've had a few grandmas in my life.
oh yeah, yeah.
Like,
Mama Lucy.
like is she my grandma? I don't know, but
Yeah.
I feel like she's my grandma.
Yeah,
She was
grandma.
our babysitter.
I adopted you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had the same
Yeah.
babysitter back in the day. But yeah. So I think that's such a common dynamic. That's so funny because we didn't even think we were gonna cover that, but
Yeah.
that's one of the things that's like, oh yeah, that's
Add
a
it to the
shared,
notes for later.
right? That's a
Right.
shared dynamic.
Yeah.
So yeah, my mom had a best friend, so we call her Titi Migdalia.
Mhm.
We're just naming names out here, whatever.
On
No
the spot.
non-disclosure agreements. But yeah, so I grew up my whole life thinking, well, and obviously us, because so Giselle I didn't meet till I was what?
I was
7?
12 when I
was
met
7
her.
years old. No, I was probably 8 because Kiara was 7.
Didn't even meet her in a proper way. Like, literally was put in a car, said, "You're gonna meet your sister." Drove us to a park and just
Yeah, we just like,
Sa-
hey,
we
that's
just
your
stared
sister.
Did
at
you
each
know
other.
anything about her though before that moment?
I don't remember
Um,
anything about that. Really.
Yes and no.
Oh, 'cause you're older. You're older, so
I
your mom like told you
knew
stuff.
that I had a sister, and I think I knew as much as the extent to your name. Other than that, I knew nothing else. I didn't know what
Damn.
you look like.
That's so sad.
I didn't know what color was your hair. I didn't know
We're gonna be processing a lot of trauma.
Right.
I
feel
didn't
like
know
stuff is gonna like unfold. Like,
anything.
I'm a crier, by the
so me too. So the day that we went to the park, right? So it's like my dad is just like, "Oh, you're gonna meet your sister," and I'm just, in my thought process was like, "Oh, I do have a sister. This is true."
And you
I'm
have a
12
younger
years old,
sister that
right?
share the same mom.
And then we have a little sister that's actually my full sister by mom and dad. And she was excited because I didn't pay no mind to her. I was 12 again.
She just wanted a sister that
She was
Right.
7, I was 8. So
Right.
like, you guys have a bigger gap than me
So when we get to the park, he doesn't even like our dad doesn't even introduce us. He's just says literally,
Wow.
"That's your sister,"
that's her go.
right?
Damn,
And
was
I
too
look
young,
at
probably.
Tiff and I'm like, "Oh, I see it in a way, like I see it. Like we might not look like each other, but in some aspect, I do feel that we do look like each other in a way. It's weird. It's weird for me to explain. But I did look at her and I said, "Oh, that is my sister." I didn't feel the connection right away because again, I was 12 years old.
It's your first meeting.
My
She's
first
older,
meeting, I didn't know how to process it. And Kiara, which is our little sister, was like, "Hey, I got a sister!"
Right.
And they ran off.
Another playmate.
Yeah,
And
for
they
Kiara.
ran off.
See that? You know what's crazy? I don't really remember you being there at all.
Yeah.
Like, I don't
Yeah,
remember
because
that.
I
She's
was
a preteen,
yeah.
so
Yeah,
she was
probably
probably
and you probably had more
processing like she
feelings about
said.
it.
Yeah,
like us,
yeah.
we're just so
Yeah.
young, we didn't realize. And I'm just like, mind you, I technically grew up as the only child, so
Right.
I had no siblings. Like my mom and my dad only had me, and then my mom never had other children. So I was always just the only child at the time. So I'm like, what? Like I have a sister, and then plus Kiara being my age, it's like, oh shit, like someone I can actually play with.
Yeah.
What?
Right,
So we were at like a park that had like the water, like a water fountain and everything. And
It's
water
right
Oh,
on
one on
Chamberlain
Chamberlain
and
Ave.
Red.
Yeah.
in Patterson.
Yup.
Madison, New Jersey. Oh yeah, we're from
Jersey.
Jersey. We didn't even mention
Oh yeah.
that.
Right, we are.
Yeah.
We're Jersey, North Jersey girls, because that's a difference. I don't know about that South Jersey stuff.
P-Town.
Yeah.
But
Patterson for the most part.
very interesting first meeting.
Dynamic, yeah.
And after that, it was just I remember just being thrown into like a every other weekend kind of thing situation with my dad, and getting to know Tiffany there. And eventually meeting Jam
Yeah.
and becoming just a blended family. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so to backtrack a little bit to just understanding. So, okay, so we're both half Puerto Rican, half Dominican. So our moms are Puerto Rican separately. So Giselle comes first, right? My dad, who's a Dominican man. We're going to keep saying that.
Typical Dominican.
No hating on any stereotypes, but it just happens that, right, our family
This is the
fits
most common.
the stereotype
Right.
of like, you know, the side family situation. So I don't think our mothers knew about each other, obviously. my mom didn't know, and my dad was like her first everything, like her first boyfriend in the States. She was like fresh off the boat from Puerto Rico in New Jersey. So, you know, like they fell in love like anybody does. Like she didn't know about Giselle's existence, the mom's existence, none of that. And we don't really know. I think as I've gotten older, I've started to try to get more details out of it, just to kind of put my life together, put their life together. Like, how the hell did all of this happen? So yeah, so I was born, and then like I didn't know that I had sisters. I didn't even know, like, you know, I don't know, you don't question these things.
For
like,
me, it was like rumors.
And you're older, so I can imagine you heard a lot more stuff than I would have.
You witnessed a lot of those
so
discussions.
So I guess how it happened was, like, and my mom, you know, as I got older, I did ask my mom, like, how did you not know, or like what were like what were your feelings or something? And she kind of like she said literally she did not understand how she wouldn't have noticed, like, because he was with her all with her all the time, she said. So, you know, whatever, she was in love, you know. And he was like spending all this time with her. Love is blind. Yeah, for real. And it's like your first,
you know, not see the red flags.
One thing she mentioned recently was, you know, even later on, because we have a lot of trauma to unpack with our dad, specifically. We're not even getting into details right now.
Not right now.
That's just
not until they warn him and tell him, like, you're about to be on blast.
No NDA for him. You
don't deserve that discretion.
No. I'm sorry if you see this, sir.
No,
someone's gonna tell you about it. But we're not giving him any grace here. No. You know, he's not like an evil man.
No, but it's a part of your story.
It's part of our story. It made us who we are. It made us, like, your trauma shapes you in the future. But yeah, so I asked her, and there was one thing for later on, you know, when other red flags of his life appeared, and I was like, you know, like, what were you feeling at the time? And she was like, you know, I asked her when she did find out that she was the side woman, like, which she didn't know. Because I found a picture of myself recently of my 3rd birthday in Puerto Rico, and I'm like, why the heck was I in Puerto Rico? And then I remembered, oh shit, like, I was kind of living in Puerto Rico for a very short time when I was around 3 years old. I was like, what made us go there? Like, why did we come back? Because I'm like, damn, you're telling me I could have lived in Puerto Rico this whole time? And that's when she explained to me.
Tropical island girl.
Yeah, she explained to me that that's when she had found out, and she tried to leave him, but she had nowhere to go, so she went back home to Puerto Rico. And
that's also like
he
a
still
pride
came
thing,
after
though.
her. Yeah, he came after her, like, not physically, but like, you know, finding her, which takes a lot of work, right? We didn't have cell phones back then. So he had to, like, somehow he contacted, right, people in Puerto Rico, like, he found a way.
Or my dad.
Your dad.
I think it was through your uncle.
Tio Gori.
Oh, Tio Gori.
I think it was Tio Gori.
Yeah.
I think it was through
they
him.
Were pretty close. So he pursued her, like, you know, he got her to come back, and my mom said, well, I was in love, you know, like, I was stupid. And he made promises, right? Like, you know, she believed him. So we came back. So, but that's one thing she said. She said she also, one thing that stuck out to me, this was very recent, literally, like, within the past couple weeks, I asked her. And she said something like, I was taught that, like, you know, like, in that Spanish culture, like, of the old side, like, that Latina culture, like, you have to fight for the family. Like, you have to stay with the family. Doesn't matter if it's a side family. Doesn't matter if it's, like, you know, if it's, like, this is the man you had a child with, even if you're not married. But it's, like, you were taught to, like, damn, you have to stick it through. So she did mention that was part of the dynamic of why she felt like she had to go back.
It's definitely
why
like
she had to stay with him.
Old school mentality. Because even my mom is like that. Like, she still believes that till this day.
Like, don't tell people what's going on in your home.
Yeah, don't tell people what's going on in your home. But being the older child of this whole dynamic, I can tell you that seeing a lot, and my mom did go through a lot of hurt. And she stood with him even after finding out. And not even through him, because he wouldn't even tell her. It was through his own friends. Yeah, your own friends told on you. And just to hurt, because he was greedy, selfish, because
he wanted to have his cake and eat it too.
He wanted to be with Tiff's mom, which we all know, because he says it. He says it in plain daylight. But didn't want to let my mom go. Right?
I have an interesting dynamic of that I feel like I found out recently too. I feel like also him, part of, like, how his culture shaped him was also, like, he the only reason both of these families broke up is really because our moms made the decision.
Right.
If it was up to him,
They were
I feel
strong
like
enough,
he would
yeah.
keep both
He
of them.
would have keep
Because I feel like what I realized in his like warped like reality, and because of the cultural shift, like, you know, the strong Latin culture, like I think he did still feel a responsibility to your mom and to you, where he felt like, even though I want to be with this other woman, but I also still have to be, right, a present father to you. You know, like that was just like this warped thing in that culture. Like it was a thing. So I feel like, you know, I'm not excusing him, but I'm just saying I think that's why he was not just like,
why
oh,
it
I'm
makes
gonna
sense
leave
for
you.
him. Yeah.
Yeah, like he's actually thought he's doing the right thing by
Mhm.
keeping both, is what I feel like, because of just, right, the family dynamic. And later on in our years, we unpacked the trauma that he himself has and how it trickled down into our generation.
Into our life. God.
So yeah, so that's
Thanks
like a whole...
for damaging us.
Thanks for damaging us. 2025. Yeah, we're still kicking it. Yeah. But yeah, we could literally have a whole episode about that. Like,
right, we can.
that
Oh,
whole
that's an
history.
interesting introduction.
But just to point out, right, because we mentioned our younger sister. So our younger sister, that they share the same mom, we're 1 year apart. So she's a product of that, right? Like that relationship still staying strong while this relationship was still
going
strong.
on.
So it's like he literally had two families. Like he had me with my mom, and then he had two.
And it's just
with
crazy how
your mom.
he could do that. Like,
yeah.
Like, I feel
Double
like
life.
nowadays you can't, because we have so much access to everything.
Yeah.
But he was able to just like
in the same town,
work.
really.
Yeah, like you said,
Same town.
Like your mom feels like he was with her all the time. How did he have time for a whole other family?
Because I remember used to being able to see him
too.
all the time.
Right.
Like he would come out of work and the dinner was done and he would sit down at the dinner table. So I'm trying to think, like, when did you have time for all of this? Like, when?
And there was no social media back then, so
There
it's
was
not
no
like he was
social media.
like, it's not like he was falling, like making your mom fall in love through the phone or something. You know what I mean? Like he was there present.
I asked her how she met him. He said he would pretend to be on the payphone across the street from her. So her and the one I said is my aunt, Migdalia. They were just best friends and roommates. So she lived with her, and he would just go use the payphone across the street to try to like
get her attention.
Get her attention.
What a cornball.
Look at me,
like,
so cool.
kidding.
You gotta show pictures of these people one day. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, but
he wasn't even that hot.
You gotta show.
Like,
no, he was actually a hot man back in the
looking,
day. He
got
wasn't bad looking.
Unibrow.
Well, he was very
Like,
Indian looking.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we look kind of Indian.
Like that.
Kind of Arab.
Right? So, he wasn't a bad looking man.
I think he's
Look at him now. I don't think he's that looking. But no, sorry, I'm kidding.
He doesn't look bad for his age.
No.
Well, yeah, that's our dynamic. So we are half sisters, but you know, I only say that when I'm explaining it to people.
Yeah.
Like,
Other than that, she's my sister.
Obviously, they're like, if they see your mom. That's another thing. I hang around with her mom all the time, and you know, my mom loves them. Like later on, like our dad ended up, like when that relationship ended, finally, he used to live with you guys, right? Like he lived with them. By the time I was like 4 or 5 years old, and when he started living with me and my mom. So up until then, he wasn't like living with us in the household. Right. I was like 4 or 5, and then that was very short lived. Honestly, I was like 9 years old by the time they broke up, which that's like another. Right. That's a whole other story of why they had to break up, right? But I forgot what the heck I was going with that. living together, like just living with him, and then when they broke up and everything. But like how you guys met my mom is when they started living together.
When they started living together,
you guys would come over for weekends.
Yeah. Well, because then
once
you guys met
that day at the park.
And I just want to say that I know Lourdes probably felt that I didn't like her, and it wasn't because of that. Because naturally, a girl my age is always gonna stick to your mom. You get what I'm saying? So you see like the hurt of them. I was older, and it wasn't nothing towards her. At the beginning, I was like, "Yeah, you destroyed our family," right? But then I got as older, started understanding that my dad did this.
Yeah.
But like, you know, this was just how you felt. You never said it to her.
Right. Yeah. But I know that she probably, because I did have an attitude, you know, I was forced into going to you guys every other weekend.
There was no like.
There was no.
They don't care about your feelings.
They didn't. They didn't ask like how I felt about it or anything, and I resented my dad a lot. So a lot of my attitude wasn't specifically towards your mom. It was more towards my dad for like forcing me to into something that I was blindsided, like just brought into everything. So it wasn't nothing towards your mom.
I think the good thing is that both Titi Lourdes, like both your mom and your mom, are mature, that they understand. Like they can see the situation and understand. Like she wouldn't hold that against you because she knew you were just a child and this was new to you.
Didn't know how to control my feelings.
The same way she was like processing and trying to like
figure
this out.
And she also like, I felt like like, okay, I'm saying my aspect, being blindsided, being brought into this dynamic, but also you could imagine how it feels for your mom. Like now your mom is responsible for taking care of 2 other kids. Like when they come every other weekend,
you guys,
And it's like probably, so it was different for her and then different for me.
Yeah, like she also was probably like, oh, I want to make sure that everything is perfect while the girls are here, so that when they go back home and their mom is gonna ask them like, oh, how was everything there? Like, she wanted to make sure you guys would feel safe. Let your mom know that you guys were in safe hands.
Like I feel like she wasn't like an evil stepmom or something. I hope, because I don't remember any bad memories.
No, she wasn't. She wasn't bad. She wasn't bad. I just feel like she had a lot of pressure. Just to take care of 2 other additional children and our father. And kind of just leaving that responsibility to her because he wasn't there when we were there, which was another thing
too. Because once like I remember a little bit of my childhood memories, but when I do think back of like being in Jersey and like my cousins, I remember it always being you and you. But I feel like I always remember us being together because of Titi Lourdes and not because of your dad.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, it wasn't like we were chilling as a family.
I remember
we were always with my mom.
I remember being at Garrett Mountain together, but that's with your mom.
He was never.
I remember going to the Chamberlain Park with you guys too. So it's like. It's funny. Like the only time I was with you guys and your dad was present was when we would be in parties at your house. Or like if Tiffany had to go to like one of your dad's side of the family parties, like Titi would send me. So I remember being with your side of the family a lot too. Yeah. So like make sure Tiffany was good. So
it's a crazy. It's a crazy.
Because my mom wasn't like, the dynamic wasn't like oh, she stole him, right? Like, they were both, like, our mothers were both oblivious. Like,
they were both blindsided.
Like, my mom wouldn't have chosen to be the other woman.
And at the end of the day, too, they didn't find out about each other until the 3 of you were already born.
Like, everybody was born.
Yeah. So it's not like they...
And I feel like part of that, like, Latino culture with the, like, the patriarchy, I guess, right? Like, very misogynistic, or whatever you call it. Like, very male-centered, where it's like,
he's
well,
the head of the household.
Yeah, he's the man, so you have
whatever
to, like...
he does is correct.
Like, if this is our new... reality, like we're just making it work. Like
also she still doesn't stand today,
right? No.
But also like because back then too, it's like he's the provider, so if he's supporting both families, it is what it is.
Like our mothers both worked, which is crazy.
Right. My mom,
our mothers
very
worked
independent.
Their asses off.
You know what's so funny though, right? So your mom had to take care of us when she was with dad, right? Every other weekend, and now like. In the future, fast forward, it's like the other way around because I feel like my mom takes care of you in a way. I mean, you are living on your own, but when you're around, she treats you. She makes sure you're fine. Always, every time she has a conversation, she's like, "How's Tiffany? Did she eat? Does she want food? Like if she cooked, then she knows that you're around. Does she want food? Like." You know, she says, my stepdaughter. That's how she refers to it.
It's like, you know what? We're not going to explain the whole story.
We're not going to explain it, but that's how my mom introduces Tiffany.
And I'm
my stepdaughter.
Yep.
And it's just so funny because now it's like, I feel like the roles are reversed. So my mom's like actually taking care of Tiffany in a way as well.
And I love Haiti. Like, she's such a serving person. Like, she just gives so much of herself. Like really, he just really found 2 great, amazing women. That thankfully for us.
And now he's kicking himself in the ass.
Right. Like, we don't need that extra added trauma. Of, like, having a shitty mom and a shitty dad. At least we have amazing mothers. His choice of women is amazing. Well, the first 2. Sorry.
I don't know about the rest, but
yeah, so he's currently remarried. he currently
That's gonna be
did,
edited out.
no, he currently did another very Dominican thing, which was
Start a new family.
Start a new family
Después de viejo.
a very young woman.
She's actually 4 months older than me.
Damn. From DR.
Yep.
Like, you know, it's one of those
Brought
situations.
her home.
Bring
Brought
them
her
home.
here.
Typical
here.
campesina.
Home here. Yeah.
And now they have 3 kids. together.
We have 3
Which is
siblings,
crazy.
which is crazy because I can't say that they're my siblings. I
Like, I don't
honestly
feel-
refer
You
to
don't
them.
feel like it.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Like
don't
when
have
I say my
that bond.
sisters, like when you ask me how many sisters I have,
It's always 3,
it's
right?
always a 3.
Like-
Yeah, and I have 2 stepsisters, which I do claim them. Like I always say, oh,
Yeah.
my sister Karen, my sister
Right,
Liz. Like
right.
they're my stepsisters through
But
my
you-
mom's new relationship. You know, when I was a teenager. But when you say like from our siblings, like you know, like my
You
blood
forget.
relationship,
You always
Yeah.
say
You
it's 3,
forget.
and then
It's
I'm like,
us
oh my
3.
god,
Yeah.
I got 3 more. My bad.
yeah. Then
But-
I have to explain that whole shit. Like, oh
Yeah.
well, technically, there's 6 of us.
Yeah.
They're
And it was
so
funny. My
young.
dad always wanted a boy, so
I think he was gonna keep trying until he got a
no,
boy.
but I don't know. Later on, I found out. Because, okay, so us growing up, right, just the 3 girls the whole time.
For a long
And he
time.
always wanted a boy.
Right.
Like, he always wanted a boy. And he always thought he would have, like, the fucking Jackson 5. Like, he thought he's, like, this musical prodigy.
A bunch of boys. Yeah.
Or just in general, like,
Okay.
he always liked the music. Like, he
I
wanted,
don't
know
like,
why.
wanted us to be very musical.
So he wanted a band instead of like a football team
baseball.
type.
Yeah, exactly. His thing was music, and then
Yeah.
he always wanted boys, and he never had boys. It's 3 girls, and I don't know if him and my mom ever tried to have more kids. I have to ask her about that. I think
hope
she
not.
did kind of tell me that she had like a miscarriage once.
Okay.
I always wanted siblings, obviously, like you know, siblings in the house.
That lived together. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, so then we're gonna talk later on in a different episode of
Yeah.
why I have been disconnected from my family for a long time. So I'm just watching things in the background. I never really had a relationship with my dad after they broke up. But
Since you
when
were
he
4?
got married, no, I was 9.
Yeah, 9.
9 years old when they broke up, and then after that, our relationship kind of disintegrated. But later on, when he had these children, all of the children are under the age of 9 right
They're
now.
like my kids' age. That's why
Well,
I
because
feel
they
like
were born when you guys were already adults.
We're already
You guys were all
adults, yeah.
over 18.
Like,
His wife is 9.
I am in my 30s. How that feel
don't
bonding
know.
with a child that's like
Right.
Well,
as a sibling, you know?
it's
your
hard.
younger siblings were
And we're
born
definitely
when you
not in
had
the
kids
household.
too.
Yeah.
So it's like they're
Yeah.
the same age as your kids.
Yeah, like, and we had, like, the way we were able to, like, what do you call it, like, progress this relationship was because we had the opportunity, right, to be in the same house.
Right,
like,
right.
you guys would sleep over. Like, we were, if our
You had
parents
a
were never
little bit
living
of
together, we
bonding
probably
time.
wouldn't have had this
Yeah.
kind of relationship either.
Right,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, we probably would have had the same relationship that we have with these kids, where it's like, well, that's that family.
Right,
Like, you know, we
right.
just feel very disconnected from them. We try, like, we hang out with them. But it's hard. Like, we don't really know
Yeah.
them. And we're not close to our dad. Like, we're not close to him in
Yeah.
that way, I would say.
And
Well,
I
I'm
just
not.
feel like it's just such a big age gap that
It's huge.
it's
Like, I feel like
kinda-
they're my nieces and nephews.
yeah, that's how I feel too. Like I look at them and I'm like, oh, those are my kids' cousins,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah, right.
Like,
They're literally the same age.
yeah.
But yeah, so there's 3 of them, and so I'm in the background watching him have this family. Like, I just find out, oh, he's married, he's having a baby, like with this young woman, and it's like the first one was a girl, and I was like, all right, you know, maybe whatever, maybe he was trying
His
to have
karma.
a boy. You know, I'm just watching it from the background,
His
like.
karma.
And I was like, well, see, at least God didn't give him a boy like he wanted. Like, you know, I'm just like, not wishing him bad, but kind of like, oh,
Yeah.
see, like, look what you're doing. Like, you know,
Yeah.
you're trying. And then he ends up having another kid. It was another
Another
girl.
girl.
And I was like, damn. And I'm like, stop having kids. Like, you know, I'm just
Yeah.
watching this from the background.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
they probably had more. You
But
guys
not
probably
knowing
talked to
what
him
his
more.
dynamic is with the
Yeah,
children.
like, I have no idea.
Yeah.
And then,
Because all you know is what you experienced, and now
Yeah,
you know a
and
little
I'm
bit
just
of
like,
her story
damn.
too, like what she went through.
yeah, I'm like, damn, like, this guy's really out here having more fucking kids. And so I see the second one, I'm like, wow, another girl. And I'm like, are you going to stop? Like, you know, like in my head, I'm like, is he going to stop? Like, that's a lot of kids.
And
Like,
he's old.
just to be older.
and
yeah.
he's already old.
I'm just thinking to be in your like late 40s and having
Yeah.
these young children, like they're gonna be around for a while, like, you know. And then they had another one, and then the third one, it was like, damn, like, stop, you know. But
Oh,
then finally he
boy.
got the boy.
Yeah.
Finally he got the boy. But it was
If he wanted boys, to be honest, I have 2 boys, and
now
our
all the
little sister
grandchildren-
have 3 boys. There goes your 5 boys.
but
Right.
he's not a good.
You
grandpa.
had a whole bunch of daughters, and then all of your grandchildren are all
Are
boys.
boys. You
He
can
doesn't
make
have
them.
one granddaughter.
No.
Wow.
And he ain't got one for me.
Everyone's done.
But,
I'm
you know,
done unless I get married.
They're holding out hope for me.
Yes,
But I don't know.
I'm
still on the
hopeful,
fence
but
about
with-
children.
I'm hopeful with her, but if she decides to not have any, it's fine too. She could just take one of mine.
I feel like
Maybe I'll have
recently
one when
I've
I get
changed.
remarried.
Yeah, recently I've changed my mind. Like I'm open to it. It's just I have like, I can go into like that's like a whole nother episode about the child-free decisions. Like, you know, when you look at just the fucking, the way the world is going right now, the economy, everything.
Yeah.
That's what I consider. And I just want the child to have a good dad, especially because of all this trauma.
Right.
It's like, I don't want to bring a
Right.
child to go through baby daddy drama. Like, I don't want that. Like, it has to be such a good father.
Just find yourself a good.
Yeah, like I feel like that's the only thing that would change my mind is finding a really good partner. But as we know,
to be a dad.
as we'll get into right throughout this, because everyone's going through it. We're all going through it.
Yeah.
The dating world right now, the
Sucks.
dating scene is
You know what?
horrible. So like
Enough
that's a
of
big
you,
part of it.
though. Enough of us. Let's talk about Jam.
Right.
What
She's
about
been
me?
quiet.
We unpacked a lot of trauma here.
We did.
I'm literally thinking like, oh, they're talking about having more kids. Yeah, no comment.
So Jam,
Dating, no comments.
how did you feel when you like met us?
For me it's different because I come from a big family.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I have 4 older siblings, and by the time I was like 5, 6 years old, I already had nieces and nephews. So I already had a bunch of little kids. It's just like I was constantly meeting a new cousin or like a new family member all the time. So I feel like, like for me, it was just normal. Like I was just happy to have somebody my age.
Right.
You know,
that's how I felt too.
because
Like,
I was always the oldest. So like even at 13, I'm like the freaking grandma.
Yeah.
So like then meeting with you guys, I'm like, okay, cool. Jesse has another bestie, you know, like Tiffany and Kiara,
Right.
and then I have Giselle, like somebody my age.
Yeah.
But then also it wasn't, like for me it was good too because it wasn't just Giselle and Kiara because they would come with Jen too.
Oh yeah.
So that was like someone else my age.
We were added. The family grew fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it literally.
And we
did.
still have
But
like this
then
connection
we also
now, which is
and
nice.
then on top of that too, like I said, you know, we had Elaine and Brandy. Like we were always there's always like multiples.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I used to always
Like-
laugh like there was always pairs of sisters.
Yeah, and
then
Tiffany's
there's
the
just
single
Tiffany.
one.
Another
Like,
Tiffany.
it's always like Jams, Jesse,
Jamy,
and Tiffany.
Jesse, yeah,
Giselle,
Jamy, Jesse,
Kiara,
and Tiffany.
Tiffany.
Even like the other
Elaine
family
and Brandy,
cousins. Elaine, Brandy,
Tiffany.
Leslie,
Leslie, Marlene, yeah.
Tiffany. There's always pairs of 2
Yeah.
and then just me.
I
in the middle.
completely forgot about those girls.
Chiqui's
Yeah.
daughters, yeah.
I wanted to like reconnect with them. Anyways, that's like a whole different.
Okay.
I don't even know how they came about. I just remember them for some
Yeah.
reason.
No, they were my mom's best friend.
Yeah,
Best friend.
another best friend.
You know what's funny? I'm thinking about that. So, one thing about being the half Puerto Rican, half Dominican, we always joke about this, but they always I look at them like their mom is Puerto Rican,
But they're
they're
Dominican
so
as hell.
Dominican to me. I'm like, and I'm thinking in my head, you know, I grew up with my Puerto Rican mom and kind of like not so close to my dad for most of my life. And there was like some point in my life that I like denied my Dominican side because I was so like resentful a little bit towards him. So I was like, I'm not Dominican, I'm Puerto Rican, you know. But it's not just because of that. Like it's not because like, oh, I hated my dad. Like I don't actually hate him.
Mhm.
But like it was just more of like I didn't have like that same connection. I didn't grow up with it.
Yeah.
Like I really only got to experience it for that
Yeah.
short time that we lived as a
Yeah.
family. So other than that, I'm with my mom. Like I went to Puerto Rico almost every summer.
Right.
Yeah.
And for
My
me, it
mom
was the
would send me
opposite.
there.
Yeah.
And for
Yeah.
me, it was the opposite.
I've never been
always
to
in
DR. yet.
Yeah.
I've never been to
Every
DR.
summer, but it wasn't because of my dad. It was because of my uncle.
Yeah.
Because
But you were closer to people in his side. of the
right,
family, which I
even though my dad lived with me till I was about 11, my grandmother on my father's side, our grandmother, she was the one that really basically raised me. So I grew up with a lot of the Dominican culture, like a lot. This is why I feel like I pull more to the Dominican side. I
And your
love
mom,
both
too,
my
'cause it has a
culture.
lot to do with your mom.
Yeah, but and it's also because I lost my grandmother at a young
Exactly.
age.
So I feel like maybe Haiti kind
So
of leaned
yeah, my grandmother
your
not
dad's
being around for as long as she was supposed to be also played a big part. Like
Yeah.
for me not connecting with my Puerto Rican
Yeah,
side
definitely.
as
Makes
much.
sense. Yeah.
Mothers carry everything.
You
You
know?
know?
But I never denied both. I love both my cultures. Honestly, I think I have the best of both worlds.
I feel like so like we've reconnected like more recently. Like we've never lost connection, but like we said,
Yeah.
we'll get into why there's like a
I
gap
mean,
in her
She
history.
brings out my Puerto Rican side. I bring out her Dominican
side.
side.
Slowly remembering that I'm Dominican. But the reason why I brought this up is because we mentioned like Leslie and Marlene, which like so my mom had a best friend who was Dominican. So like after my mom broke up with my dad,
living
had like
her
this
best life.
friend. Yeah, she had the best, but she had this best friend that was Dominican, and like their family kind of just took us in. Like we were always with them. Like holidays, we were with them. Christmas, Thanksgiving, everything. Like we were partying with this huge Dominican family. So I feel like they're honestly the reason why I was able to still be connected to the Dominican a little bit. Like I still kind of would. I would hang out with them and still be like, I'm Puerto Rican. Like, you know?
Yeah.
But, like, you know?
Yeah.
But, like, my mom is, like,
but
a
you got
big
to learn,
bachata
like, the culture.
person. Like, my mom loves bachata. And it's, like,
my
the
dad
music I
was
grew up
obsessed with merengue.
Yeah. And, like, you know,
like
our
merengue
dad,
típico, though. Like,
bachata
típico. Yeah.
I wouldn't expect
my mom
típico.
listens to everything, so I'm, like, a very musical person. Like, I love all, like, I listen to Mexican shit. Like, I listen
I think
listen to, like,
vallenatos.
My dad's
you can
favorite
tell we're
artist
sisters because we connect a lot with music.
Yeah.
Right?
And I think, honestly, that's one good trait our dad gave us, I feel like. I feel like we got the music from him, because I'm very musical. Like, I love music.
Yep.
But yeah, but our dad listens to everything too. But my mom, like, you know, I grew up listening to salsa. I grew up listening to ballads too, like, you know, Juan Gabriel, Ana Gabriel. Like, I love that music. But my mom was a big bachata person in this phase of her life. Her, you know, after divorce time, like, you know, and this family, like the parties that we would go, those big ass house parties, and they were a huge family, like a huge family, and. So, like, you know, I was able to be connected to them, right, with the food, the Dominican music, because they were just in such a big part of our lives at the time. So I think that kind of helped me stick to it, you know what I mean? Like, if not, I would have been, like, hella Puerto Rican, you know? But, yeah, like, I love both, like, the cultures, like, and I see the similarities, but, like, you know, I still have a hard time identifying with it. Like, I don't know why. It just is. It's not natural.
Because it's new. It's relatively new to you.
I thought I was doing it out of spite, but I wasn't. Like, I just didn't feel connected to it.
Because you didn't. I think not
because you do have to
with
grow
the
up
Dominican
side.
in the culture.
Family is a big part of it. Yeah.
So if my grandmother was still alive, I can honestly tell you that I'd be more connected with my Puerto Rican side. Because I feel like you, the opposite way. Not that I don't know about my Puerto Rican culture, and I adore it when I go over there, you know. But had my grandmother been around, I'm pretty sure I would have been, because my grandmother was a big salsa. Like, I'm telling you, this lady danced salsa so well with her brother.
Yeah.
Like, I used to just look at them mesmerized.
Yeah.
That's how good they used to dance. Like, and it was such a Puerto Rican household. That household was very Puerto Rican. So I have some memories, but she left at a young age, and when she left, it died. It died. Yeah. It went. Yeah, because my mom didn't know her real dad until she was about 36. Wow. She didn't meet him. So that's a whole other episode we can talk about.
We'll let Haiti tell her side of the story
about it because it's very personal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very, very personal.
It's her story to tell.
But yeah. I wish my grandmother was with us longer.
Yeah. Yes, I think always mothers, grandmas, like the matriarchs carry what you're closer to. You know what I mean? If I would have grew up with my dad, I would have been, like, if he was in the household, I obviously would have been closer. Because he's a very proud Dominican man. Like, proud, like, Dominican flag on the wall type of guy. Like, Trujillo picture, right? Or no, what's the other guy? What's the picture?
No, he always likes Leonel, but he likes Che. But
I just remember this picture of like a president, a Dominican president,
Leonel,
always on the wall in the living room,
the purple.
Yeah, so like, you know, there's things that I remember from it, but like I said, I just didn't grow up close to it. So I always say like, like, you know, I used to always go every Puerto Rican parade. I was there.
It makes sense, yeah.
Yeah.
My dad was the one that kept us more connected to the Puerto Rican culture.
Yeah, of course.
So I learned a lot through my dad.
Your mom wasn't connected? Is your mom
not
like more
really
Americanized?
Yeah, I would say so, but that's because she was more like, by the time I was born, she was the breadwinner. So she was always, I just remember her always working like 2 jobs, and maybe she was home on the weekends. So we spent more time with my dad. My dad worked overnight, so during the day he was like our babysitter for the most part, you know. So like we got to do a lot of fun stuff with my dad.
Okay.
But like
So
like
you were
he
like a
kept
daddy's girl.
They have like
yeah,
the
oh yeah, we're definitely
of us.
yeah.
We're such daddy's girls.
Yeah. So we were like super spoiled, but that also goes with, you know, me having 4 older siblings. They lived a stricter life. Yeah, my half siblings. So, you know, they had a strict upbringing because my mom was present more. But then when my mom met my dad, they were able to feel like kids again. Because my dad was pretty much like the fun dad, like the fun parent too for them, not just me, and like he wasn't biased, so he wasn't just like good to me and Jesse, like he was a really good dad to them.
All of them.
Yeah,
Like they called him dad, like they considered him dad. I don't even
like
think I knew.
all the grandkids. Like
I don't think I knew that they were half siblings till I was older.
I didn't even know.
I didn't know what the hell
that was.
You know what I remember, Jams? I remember a party, and I think it was your house when you lived in South Patterson. And it was a party, and it was a party, and I remember meeting mostly all your siblings. I think the only one that stood out to me was probably
La Morenita,
Sony, and Reina. Yeah.
Because they mostly come around.
But I remember that house party very vaguely. But I remember my dad going there. Like that was the one time that we all went all together.
Oh wow!
I was like, yo, first off, I don't know whose party it was, but it's definitely in your house. And like your dad was like with my dad. That's one thing I do remember, that they were like
good friends.
They were cool. Yeah, they would hang out.
They were cool, and they did something in the living room with like, it was just the music.
Band?
I just remember the music.
Because your dad always was like the band guy. Like he would
Yes.
come with the instruments and like other musicians and stuff like
For
that.
some
Like
reason that party stuck out.
That's funny.
my dad is just a music of lover. Like my dad is an artist, pretty much. Like our whole side of the reels, the real side of our family is super creative. Like they're all talented in some kind of way. And also my dad is more like he has like a hippie upbringing too, so he's very like free and like I don't know, like free spirited and down with like
Do you
the music
remember,
and stuff like
did
that.
your mom ever tell you like how your
They
mom
met? Yes, but I don't know, like I don't know the facts. So basically, from what I remember, I would have to ask her. But from what I remember hearing, my dad was friends with, again, we call people like tios or whatever. So my dad and my tío Diplo were friends. I want to say college friends, but that's just because they were like adults, right? Like in their 20s. And tío Diplo is my mom's cousin. So they're first cousins.
That was your actual uncle. Anyway.
No. So they're first. So they're first. Mommy and tío Diplo are first cousins.
Oh, so to you as an uncle.
So you know, I grew up.
Spanish.
So I grew up calling him tío Diplo. And then so my dad and him were like best friends, and tío Diplo was staying with my mom, and so I don't know, my dad being a hippie, a homeless hippie.
Oh no, she gave him a shelter.
Yeah. My dad being like a hobo.
Oh no.
He needed a place to stay, and my uncle spoke to my mom. My mom said okay, and they ended.
Damn.
And then 20-something years later,
and she had 4 kids.
She already had 4 kids.
Wow.
She had 4 kids.
Your mom married young then.
She did. She had my brother when she was 15.
Oh,
so
damn.
she met. I don't know where they met, but I know that
I didn't realize.
I know that my 2 older siblings were born in Chicago.
Oh.
Yeah, so they're from Illinois.
Oh shit. Damn, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, and then but
I remember how old I was when I figured out that like your oldest brother is like so close in age to my mom, literally.
Oh
like,
yeah.
That's how far the age gap is. Like they're like literally almost the same age.
Yeah,
but I always saw them as the older siblings, and obviously you see your mom as an adult.
Yeah.
So
I
you're
didn't
like,
even know you had a brother.
Yeah, so my mom has the 1 boy and then 5 girls.
Wow.
So my brother's the oldest. And then like he's like 16 years older than me. Then it's Christina. So Victor and Christina have the same dad. They're both redheads. And then it's Sonny and Reina. They have the same dad. Their dad was a military dad.
oh.
I could see that. Because Sonia's very like.
Yeah, like, well, he pretty much raised like the four of them for a little while too. And he was like the one that was like making them clean, and if they didn't clean properly, they would get like punished, like like
very military-ish.
on the wall, on their knees with their hands up in the air, sometimes throwing the grain of rice on the floor.
That was my punishment with Dad. You see?
That was like super old school too.
Yeah,
and then
so
like
bad.
he would literally go and like swipe with
and
the
then
white glove.
Your dad.
Right, so they
fun fucking hippie guy.
Exactly.
No rules. There was like barely any rules with him.
Oh no, yeah, we had so many cavities by the time we were like 4.
Oh my
He's
God.
literally like the fun dad.
Yeah.
And I remember people saying that they would tell him that he would never have kids.
Oh yeah, he didn't think that he could have kids. So my mom
Well,
was like,
sounds very hippie.
yeah.
So by the time they're born, it's like his prized possession. Like you're so happy. Like I think he loved them so much. Like
he told my mom,
loved being a dad.
He told my mom he couldn't have kids, and then she was shocked when she was pregnant with me.
So they're over there like,
yeah,
you
then
lied
came
to
along
me.
Jesse. Yeah.
Yo, that's hilarious.
But
I
He
I
conned
think-
her all the way.
I think the
no,
reason
but then he
is
really thought he couldn't have kids.
well,
'Cause
I
he
think
was
it's
for
because
so many
he was
years.
with his 2 marriages before my mom were with older women. So they already
So they're
had
probably already
5
menopause
kids
and
each.
shit.
Like they already had their children. And yeah, they just probably were past childbearing, or they probably had their tubes tied and never told him, like, but he just didn't think that he could have kids.
Wow.
He never went to a doctor to go find
to
out.
go find it
it
out.
was
Like,
just you're infertile.
It was just that he had
He just
these
went
long,
with it and ran.
yeah, he had long relationships with these 2 women, and
no
he didn't
kids
have no
ever came
children.
about, yeah.
But he was always like a good dad. So they both had like 5 kids each, those 2 women. And also like me growing up, not only did I have my 4 older siblings and then Jesse, I grew up thinking that like those 10 kids from his previous marriages were his kids, like till this day. Like
I remember that you guys would tell me he's your brother.
and
I'm like,
yeah,
no, the
like
fuck he's not.
Well,
Like,
because one of them is named Tito Chiquito, and they call my dad Tito. So, like,
Tito Junior, Tito Chiquito.
Yeah. So
That's hilarious.
oh man, like it's so funny, but yeah, like and there's one of those like families, they all live in Patterson too, so I grew up around them. Like my mom welcomed them, like if kind of how your mom welcomes Tiffany now and how Lourdes welcomed you guys. Like my mom welcomed them to the house too, so I grew up learning that was my brother and my sisters.
That's funny.
so crazy, right?
Yeah, like the relationship was like there to like even my dad passed away 13 years ago. They were at the funeral too.
That's that long ago?
Yeah, they were there.
Years?
So
wow, time flies.
A lot to unpack here.
It is.
But as you
we're
can
at
see,
55 minutes.
I was thinking as we're mentioning all these names, but like I feel like that's our hope for
We're
like
gonna
the
bleep them
future.
out.
We are gonna
No.
make it out.
I think for the future we want to introduce all these people like one by one, like our
Right.
sisters, because like that's why we wanted to call the podcast Las Primas Hermanas, is because that's literally what we are. Like right now, there's a group
Like,
of us.
Somos
like,
primas hermanas y
and it's
son
expanded,
hermanas
yeah.
y somos primas. Like at the end of the day, even though we're not blood related, we're related by like our childhood. We have memories together, and now we're building new memories, and we're
It's like time
starting
never
a
passed.
village.
Yeah, time never passed,
we're
right.
creating a village too for our children
kids,
to meet
like,
together.
yeah.
So
And they all know each other as cousins and nothing more.
Yeah.
Nothing
We
different.
don't have to
Nothing
explain
different.
to them all the history.
Yeah.
Like, they don't have any
and it
idea
doesn't
about
even
the
matter the
history.
ages either, because
No.
my son is 19 and he loves all of the kids. Like
Yeah.
he looks at them like they're his little
Yeah.
brothers
So
and
we have,
sisters.
we have other dynamics. Like I said, like I have 2 stepsisters, and they're part of like this little
The-
family
the
dynamic. Like
circle,
they were integrated too, like in this circle that we have. Jam's
Yeah.
younger sister, our younger sister Kiara, my stepsisters. We have cousins. We have your aunt, which is like you guys are the same.
Your
age.
best friend.
As my best friend, that's my
Ale.
sister.
Yeah, so we have like it's like a I don't know. I feel like we post on social media a lot, and
Yeah.
it's like people always see us like hanging out together. And,
They want to know what it's like to be in the group chat.
Yeah,
This is gonna be the
right,
group
this is the
chat
group
live.
chat.
Please don't leak that group chat.
Group chat must not be leaked. This is
No.
like a preview to the group
Ever.
chat conversations. But what was I gonna say?
She don't remember.
That's another thing. I definitely have ADHD, but I'm always constantly diagnosing other people.
She
so.
diagnosed
So
me.
this whole podcast,
Self-diagnosed.
this whole podcast is gonna be an ADHD
Very.
It's gonna be hard to
We
keep
got
us on
off topic
track.
right now.
It's gonna be hard to keep us on track. That's why we try to get these
We're gonna
notebooks.
get cue cards. We're gonna try to like fix
Yeah.
ourselves in the future.
But
anyways,
just bear with us. We're gonna be fun. We're gonna be
Yeah.
worthwhile.
Stick with us
And
give us ideas.
Yeah.
Give us like things to talk about. But we're gonna literally talk about everything. Like even like,
Yeah.
but especially like again going back to we wanted to always tie back into being Latina in the U.S. because you know like we're carrying these cultures from our past. We're carrying like this history, but we slowly changed, right? Certain things that we live. ADHD. I diagnosed her.
Keep going. Keep going.
Completely off track. Anyways, so yeah, like introducing these other like mixed family members that we have, like you know, maybe they'll share their stories, but we have so many things. Like Jams is part of the LGBTQ community, so we have like you know being queer in Latin culture, how that affects people. You know, single moms. Married and divorced, teen mom, like everything. We literally have everything. So there's so much to uncover, and it's like we love to be like morbid, right? Like we laugh through the pain.
It's not that we love it.
We just do.
We're just
that's what happens. Like everybody can relate to us in the fact that we just look back at shit and we laugh at the trauma.
Right.
But, like you know, there's times we get serious and then there's times we laugh, but like that's just part of life. But yeah, it's gonna be exciting. We're just putting ourselves out there. This is raw.
Again, we're trying to just be our authentic selves.
This is an idea we want.
Yeah.
And we don't know where this is going or where this is going to lead us, you know, but be a part of our life. And I'm sure
like
you're going to relate.
Open.
You're going to relate to us on so many levels.
Yeah. There's going to be a lot of
we're just going to say so many
relatables.
things that you're going to be like, wow, my family's like that. Or I did that. Or I went through that. Like, yeah, that's gonna be us pretty much.
Yeah, like really, like literally, like we're your primas hermanas.
Right.
You're our primas hermanas. So
you're
bye,
our
primas.
Y primas.
We'll talk to you later, primas.